Okay, I'm texting Taylor to see where she's at. Hello, hello. Let me see. Okay, Taylor, you there? Oh, shoot, I did not mean to do that one. Who all is out there? Who's out there with me? There she is. I am hoping that comments work today too, Taylor. Oh my goodness. Where are my VBAC mamas? I'm wondering, usually my VBAC classes are way shorter. So, Brianna, are you a VBAC mama or are you just a mama who wants to have a vaginal delivery? So, I want to tell you guys, even if you are not a VBAC mom, which a VBAC is a vaginal birth after cesarean. I agree. The Facebook comments have been wackadoodle. Part of the problem is that I am live streaming into my student group, the old student group for our VBAC moms. I'm also live streaming into YouTube to record them so I can add them to the VIP library. So, oh, Taylor's saying the comments are working. Please, God, let them work. All right. What I want from you guys today, because we're going to have a small group. We always have a small group when it's a VBAC class. So, what I want you guys to do is write who you are. Tell me what number baby, where you're from, and how far along you are. Hi, Jessica. Now, if you're not a VBAC mom, if you're a mom who has not had a cesarean, I'm just going to tell you right now that, sorry, one of my children always call me, when I'm teaching. Okay, so if you're not a VBAC mama, here's a hint. Vaginal birth after cesarean. So what is your goal? Your goal is a vaginal birth. Your goal is also hopefully to avoid having a cesarean. So there's going to be valuable information in here. So Shay is from Columbus, Ohio, and she did not have a C-section, but you can be here because I want to tell you guys, VBAC mamas who have had a cesarean are valuable resources for first-time moms. And let me ask each of my VBAC moms, if you had to do it over your first birth, what would you change? What would you change? Fifth child, Shay, girl. I love it. Someone said she's trying to wrap around her mind that she's 28 weeks tomorrow. Congratulations, girl. You are in the third trimester. Brianna is from Puyallup, Washington. I've never even heard that. Am I saying that right? Okay, so Kelsey just said if she could change anything about her previous birth, which ended in a cesarean, that she would not have gotten induced. So that's number one. She wouldn't have agreed to an induction. So I want you guys to let me know if you guys can see my comments, okay? Not agree to an induction. Okay, so that was number one, not to agree to an induction. Okay. Anybody else that had a VBAC or a second-time mom, like what would you change? I'm going to add you, Kelsey. Kelsey said she would not have agreed to an induction. She would have not gotten induced. No one has. It's pronounced like Puyallup, and I'm about an hour and a half from Seattle. So, Brianna, my very first travel assignment I've ever had, the labor and delivery unit that I've loved the most, that if I could go back and work full time, was in Seattle. Yay. So Facebook user said she's planning for her VBAC in December also. You've got this, mama. tell me, let's see. Molly said, I went through my first pregnancy. Let me add hers. I went through my first pregnancy assuming I would have my planned natural birth. I would have prepped a lot more and pushed back on doctors. Hell yeah. And asked more questions of my practice before getting to 40 weeks. Looking back, they were C-section happy. That's so common. All right, let's see. Kelsey said, also wish I would have educated myself a whole lot more before my first birth. Yes, that's why you guys are here. Why is it not? Jalen is one of my students. Jalen, I want you to drop and put your name. So put Jalen hyphen and what you would have changed about your first birth that you feel like could have potentially led to you ending up with a cesarean. Jessica said, what I would change is the lack of knowledge and control I had through the entire process. I would have said no to an induction. Yes, yes, yes. No to the doctor breaking my water. Hell yeah. And lying on my back through 17 hours of labor. You guys know me. You know I am not a fan of any of those things. Jessica, you have already made such a powerful move forward to having this vaginal delivery just by knowing those things. Let's see. I don't see Jalen's name. Let's look. I kind of wish I could deliver in Seattle. After a lot of research, I'll be delivering at Auburn Hospital. They have a birth center in the hospital. Well, I'm praying, girl, that you're going to have an incredible birth. I feel like Washington in general is so birth friendly. All right, Jalen, tell me what you would change because she's in my VBAC lab. She's one of my students, and I want to hear what Jalen, like what decisions, like those early decisions, do you guys feel like might have been better off stopping? Because here's what happens once we agree, once we we're bullied or we're coerced into a decision that might not be best for us, it starts this cascade of interventions which ultimately could end up in the OR. So we're going to talk about that. And then after this class, I'm going to post a empowered VBAC class handout into the Facebook group. So if you're joining me on my business page and you're not a member of the Facebook group, then I want you to go to labornursemama.com/fearless, join up, give your email and your name, and then on the next page, you see a button to join the private Facebook group. Okay, Jalen, she said, I would have definitely taken a class. I would have researched everything and not agree to every single intervention they suggested to get the baby out. Hell yeah. That is one of the number one reasons that I find that first-time mamas end up in the OR for a C-section. Okay, so we're going to go on. Let's see. Kelsey, did I add that? I think I did. She said she would rather have educated herself a whole lot more. That's the most powerful thing you guys can do to ensure that your birth is more likely to be what you want and less likely to lead to birth trauma, whether your birth is perfect or not. All right, so let's kind of talk. One of the things I hear from my VBAC moms, and I want you guys to kind of acknowledge if you felt this way, is they wish that they could have educated themselves a lot more before their first birth. This is the top thing I hear from women who have experienced either a cesarean or birth trauma. And you don't necessarily have to have a cesarean to end up in birth trauma. Birth trauma can be led by just not knowing what's going on, a lack of feeling of control, a lack of being a part of the decisions in your birth. And one of the things I do with my students, because we offer a special discounted birth plan consult, one-on-one with me, one-on-one with my team, if it's not me, is we create the perfect birth plan for you. And one of the things that I put in there is that I want to be part of the decision-making process. Do not make decisions for my birth without informed consent and me saying it's okay. And if possible, give me time to make decisions. Okay, let's see. I see some new comments. Let's see. I think I added that. Yep, we did that. Yeah, and Taylor's saying, we don't want you guys to feel like your birth happened to you and not for you. This is your birth journey. So whether you're a VBAC mama or a first-time mama, you absolutely have every right to be a part of the decision-making process. 100%. Let's see what this one says. I had to get induced and I had my water break, and most of the nurses never really came in and check on me and my baby, and most of them came in and helped me out. And I also lost a lot of blood, so I had to get a bleed influence, which I'm assuming she means a transfusion. So gosh, I hate this story, and I don't want to see that at all. So my number one tip for all of you, whether you're a VBAC mom or you're a first-time mom or a fourth-time mom who's experienced birth trauma, if you can enter your birth believing that your body is 100% powerful, incredible, capable. I want you guys right now in the chat room to write, my body is capable. I want you to write that. I want to see someone write it. Come on. Taylor, get these girls going. I want to see you guys say, my body is capable. If you're watching this afterwards, comment with, my body is capable. Yes, Molly. Yes, Jessica. Come on now. Where's the rest of you? Jalen, girl, you know I'm not going to let you get out of this. My body is capable. That's right, Amanda. I love this. I just got back here, lost the last 3 minutes because your husband called. Darn husband, we're in a class. My son called too, so I'm right there with you, girl. Kelsey said my body is capable. Yes. All right, the person who just got back because her husband called, you need to, there you go. She did it right before I said it. I gotcha. I'm thinking that's Jalen. She's one of my students. I'm allowed to be hard on her. All right, so your body is incredible. I want you to think about this, and I've talked about this all week. You didn't have to tell the sperm to meet the egg. You didn't have to tell it to combine into this incredible little fetus, right? You didn't have to tell your body, oh, tick, tick, time to get the heart going. Oh, tick, tick, time to form the fingers. Oh, wait a minute, today is the day that we need to get the lungs practicing. No, you don't have to tell your body that, because your body knows what the heck it's doing. Here's what happens. We get into our head, and our head gets in the way of our body. So last night I was telling you guys, start trusting your instincts, not only with making decisions, but start trusting your instincts that the only thing you have to do is educate yourself on the process of labor. You have to educate yourself on the signs of labor. You have to educate yourself on, what do I do during first stage of labor? What do I do during early labor? What do I do during active labor? How do I handle transition? What's happening to me during transition? Why do I feel like my head is spinning and it's an exorcist moment? And what can I do about that? How do I push? And we're going to talk about pushing tomorrow night. Tonight, we're going to talk about labor coping skills. And I'm going to teach you guys some things that I haven't taught to any of my Fearless Birth Experience people. We're going to get real. Like, this isn't going to be like a formal little class. This is going to be, hey, I'm your labor nurse and I'm admitting you to the labor room, and here's what I want you to know. I'm your doula, and I'm helping you get through the labor process and learning how to cope. But it all comes back to listening to your instincts and believing that your body is capable. Now, I already did this. We talked about this. The way to start believing in your body is to study the process of labor. Study what's happening. Do you know what is happening inside of you in pre-labor? Do you understand prodromal labor? Do you understand early labor? Do you understand what that can look like and how it can manifest itself? And do you know the tools to use in early labor? Do you understand active labor and how you can work with your body? Does your coach understand these things? And now, transition. What's going to happen in your head? What are some common thoughts? What are some common things that women verbalize during transition? And how can you move through it quickly and without a lot of hoopla? Right? How about pushing? Do you understand it? Do you understand after the baby comes out and what happens with the placenta? Do you understand the immediate postpartum and the benefits of all the different decisions that you have a right to make? Do you understand that you don't have to push with your feet up in the air? Like, how asinine is that? So last night we talked about communicating our desires and our birth map to our team. Do you understand that you have a right? Are you able to quell that thing inside of you that tells you you're doing something wrong by having a preference for your birth? These are all things that education and knowledge, understanding what's happening inside you, understanding what's happening around you. Why is that nurse coming in? And what is she doing over there in the corner? And what is that blue table? And what is that tube over there? And why are they putting an IV in me? And why can't I move? And do I have a right to move? All of those things are critical. All right, I'm afraid of the pain. For some of my moms who have already had a cesarean, and let's say you were scheduled because your baby was breech, or you were scheduled because you had placenta previa, and you didn't actually labor. So one of the things we taught already on Monday, and if you didn't get that recording and you missed it, I highly recommend that you guys, two things. One, you can join as a VIP mama and get all the workshops for $24. Now, not only do you get that, you also get a coupon to get $20 off the birth course. If you join the birth course, you're basically getting all 6 workshops, which is 6 hours of training for $4. You can't beat that. Now, if you don't decide to take the next step with us, you have all of these valuable workshops, which, yes, they're not a complete birth education. You're not going to understand interventions or the process around you, but you're going to have a nice solid foundation to have a powerful birth, but not all of what you need to know. So if you are worried about the pain of labor, we taught this on Monday, but I'm going to do a recap because I think it's important for my VBAC moms to know that they need to let that fear go. They don't want that to interfere with the roadblocks you're already going to face by being a VBAC mama. So the pain of, sorry, I just got a very weird text. The pain of labor is a sign that everything is good. I want you guys to soak that in. Labor pain means it's good. It's right. Every other pain in the world is a bad pain. Burn your hand, bad pain. Cut the tip of your finger off, that's a bad pain. Stub your toe. You guys, I just went on a cruise and we got off the cruise and I jammed my toenail into the back of my shoe. Don't ask me how. I don't even know. My entire toenail ripped up and off the bed of my toenail. That was not a good pain. That was a pain that said to me, oh my gosh, you're going to have the funkiest looking toe for the next year. My husband went on to tell me it'll take me like a year to get a normal toenail. You know how mortifying that is? That is not a good pain. That is not something I'm excited about because my toe, like my daughter says, my toe looks like a raw chicken nugget, which is not a good thing to hear from your teenage daughter. However, the pain of labor is a sign that everything is good. The pain of labor is telling you, hey, we're on the right track. Everything is going good. Everything is ready to go. Now, how do you flip your script to like, oh my God, I don't want to have a baby. This is going to be horrible. The pain's going to be horrible. It's going to be so bad. I just have to get through it. No, I don't want you to enter your birth with the idea of, I just have to get through the pain of labor. Blue, that's done. I'm done. No, I want you to understand the pain and embrace the pain. And the way that you do this, sorry, my child is blowing up my phone. Don't ask me why. So the pain of labor, to embrace the pain of labor, you have to understand it. We've already talked about that. Where is the pain coming from? And we did this class on Monday. So if you missed it, again, join as a VIP mama and you can 100% take all of these classes and watch them over and over again. Or better yet, join for the full birth class. If you're a VIP mom, we have a coupon for 20 off. If you are a fearless birth mom, we have a coupon for 10 off. Plus, you're going to get my postpartum course for free. Plus some other goodies that I'm going to offer. And I'm about to post all the prizes that we've had for day 1, 2, and 3. Now, how do you do this? You educate yourself. You start to flip the script inside your brain. So if you're waking up in the middle of the night, like I do when I'm stewing over things, and you're thinking, I really don't know how I can handle the pain of labor. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I want you to start instead, as soon as that thought puts itself in your head, I want you to rub your belly. And I want you to say to your baby, baby, you are incredible. I built you and I'm going to birth you, and I'm going to birth you with power because I am a birth queen. I want you guys to write that right now. I am a birth queen. If you're watching this later, because I know a lot of y'all are at work, if you're watching this later, I want you to drop it in the comments. I am a birth queen. Where are you? Someone, Jalen, girl, you know you're not getting out of this. Yes. Love it. You are a birth queen. In fact, I want to ask you this, okay? I haven't asked this all week. This is one of my favorite questions. If we're in a birth experience, right? The labor nurse is there, your provider's there, you're there, your partner's there. We've got the NICU team or the baby team ready to go. What is the one thing that we have to have in that room for the birth to actually happen? What is the one thing? Someone tell me. One thing. What do you think a birth room needs? One thing it needs for a birth to happen. For the birth to take place. Yes, 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 yes. I love you guys. I have the smartest group of fearless birth experiences ever. Yes, it's you. Because guess what? If I'm in the birth room and you're not, the birth can't happen. If your provider's sitting at the end of the bed, ready to catch the baby, but you're not there, the birth can't happen. If you're not there, the birth can't happen. Well, guess what? You hired me. You're paying me. I'm not there out of the goodness of my heart. Now, I do love birth, and I have joked that my dream job, you guys, besides educating you guys, would be go to a third world country where there's not a lot of access to healthcare and be a midwife delivering babies in a rural village for free. That would be my dream because I love birth. I love birth. 100%. So if you're in Nashville area and you want someone to come hang out with you during your delivery, hit me up. Anyway, I 100% want you to soak it in that you are the employer. You've employed your labor nurse, the baby nurse, the provider, the tech. You employed the hospital. Yeah, someone said I'm moving to Nashville. All right, girl, you let me know. Anyway, you are powerful and you're in control. You have rights. Now, I said this last night. I don't want you going in there going, I don't want that because I don't have to because I'm the birth queen. Or I'm not doing that because I don't have to. No, I want you to remember that we don't refuse things just because we can. We refuse them because we're knowledgeable, we're wise, and we're making a good decision for our birth. Because the interventions are there for a reason. All right, let's move on. This is one of my students. This is Stephania, and she said, all the things I learned from you and other experiences you shared made me do it with strength and positivity. My VBAC story, I just want to share because it's a positive story, and I want to encourage every woman who wants to have the experience for a natural birth, but they are scared. From every contraction I did, a pose from what I learned for you. And look at this. Do you guys, someone tell me what you notice about her legs and her bed? Anybody see something different than most births in that picture? What do y'all see? Taylor, you can tell me. Where's my quiet bunch? What do you guys see in that? No stirrups. Exactly. Yes. Yes, no stirrups. Absolutely, 100%. Can you deliver a baby if you're not in lithotomy? Hell yeah. I want you guys to say this to yourself in labor. I would not lay down to poop like this if I were constipated. I'm about to poop the biggest poop ever, which is a human being. Little side note. All right. How will I know what to do or when to do it? A lot of my VBAC moms get a little bit nervous about going into labor on their own. How are they going to know when to go to the hospital? How am I going to know what to do when I need to do it? Especially if you have a poopy provider who's not very VBAC friendly. So I want you to begin to listen to your instincts. Okay. Listen to what your body is telling you when it comes to laboring and pushing. The number one advocate you have on your side is you, your body, listening to your body. And this is something we cover in detail in the VBAC lab. And some of my students from the VBAC lab are on here right now. So give it a shout out, tell it how incredible it is and how much we invest in you guys. We want you to be prepared for your birth. That is the most important thing you can do. So we're going to talk about some facts and stats in a minute. So when I say educated, for my VBAC moms, not only do you need to be educated about the process of labor, but you also have to be educated about the facts and the stats. Because what I've learned from spending 2 full years with my VBAC students since we launched the VBAC lab is that you guys are going to face adversity. You're going to face naysayers. You're going to face people who are so well-meaning, but don't know what the hell they're talking about. So has any of my VBAC moms heard, why would you do that? Like, why not just have a C-section? It's safer and you're not going to take a chance. Anybody heard that? Give me hands up if anybody's heard that. Yes, heard that so much. Girl, I'm so sorry. Yep. It's so frustrating. Like, why can't they just take the approach of believing in your body? I don't get it. Why set up so much negativity? It's literally ridiculous. Now, for my VBAC mamas, yesterday I posted a provider questionnaire for everyone else. Today, I'm going to add to the files in the Facebook group one specifically for you guys. Now, I hope that you're going to join the VBAC lab, because our VBAC lab birth class is not just a traditional birth class with a little bit of VBAC verbiage tacked on. It's not just a little chapter about VBACs. VBAC knowledge is infused to every part of my birth course. And we also give you above and beyond access to us and support. We have committed to meet with you every Monday night. If you want to come, we do a VBAC Zoom, a VBAC happy hour. We do it every other week. We rotate. We do it during the day and then during the evening, during the day, during the evening. Most of the time it's me. Sometimes it's me and Taylor, our team doula. And sometimes it's just Taylor, so I can take a night off. So here's what I want to say. Let us fight with you. Let us help you navigate these naysayers. You have to be educated. You have to know what to expect, what, the biggest arguments are going to come from. And I'm going to go through some of those in just a second so that you're, just a little bit prepared. Now, you don't have to take notes because I'm going to put it in the Facebook group in the files. And that's in the Fearless Birth Experience Facebook group. Okay. It angers me to the core too, Taylor. Amen. Yes. Someone said she's in and out of here picking up the babe from school. So the recording will be available in the Facebook group until tomorrow morning. I'm going to leave it up a little bit longer. We hate that you guys have to fight so hard to get a birth when here's the facts. I'm going to pull them over here so I can read to you guys. I'm going to go through one at another. Who do you think is a candidate for a powerful VBAC? Give me some ideas of who do you think should be able to have a VBAC? Does she have to line up all the do all the stars have to line up perfectly? No. So the ACOG, which is the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, say that VBAC guidelines state the preponderance of evidence suggests that most women with a previous cesarean delivery with a low transverse incision are candidates for and should be counseled about and offered a TOLAC, which is a trial of labor after a C-section, aka a planned VBAC. What do you think do you think women who have a big baby should be able to have a VBAC? Do you think most doctors would suggest a VBAC for a big baby? Just say yes or no. We're going to vote. Yes or no. Our provider is going to tell you that you should have a VBAC if your baby's big. Is there anybody out there? So Jessica's saying yes. They're saying yes, you should have a VBAC if the baby's big. So what I've seen from my experience is that they wouldn't suggest, but we all know the big baby bullshit. Exactly. So this is what ACOG says about a big baby. ACOG VBAC guidelines affirmed suspected macrosomia, which is big baby, alone should not exclude the possibility of a TOLAC. You guys hear that? ACOG supports you getting to have a trial of labor if they think your baby is big. And here's the thing. It's always going to be suspected because They don't know if your baby is big or not because ultrasounds are wrong. Actual manual palpitation is wrong. So your body should be able to say, hey, yeah, I can give birth to this baby and give it a chance. All right, what about going past your due date? Do you think they're going to support you having a VBAC? Do you think it's okay with a VBAC mama to go past your due dates? You guys are quiet. Taylor, what do most doctors say about going past the due date if you're having a VBAC? So what we found is that, yes, VBAC friendly providers absolutely don't put up roadblocks. Yes, doctors most likely push back. And the reason is they're not VBAC friendly. They're looking for anything to put a bump in the road for you. I love that, Kelsey. Yes, powerhouse. So this is what ACOG says. ACOG states VBAC guidelines clarify that going beyond 40 weeks of pregnancy should not prevent a woman from planning a VBAC. How do you guys like that? VBAC guidelines clarify that going beyond 40 weeks of pregnancy should not prevent you from planning a VBAC. All right, what about induction? Is that an option for a VBAC mama? Can she be induced? What do you guys think? Yes or no? Do you think that most providers would support induction of a VBAC mom? Nope. Yeah, and we still hear all the time from our students that their providers don't want them going past their due date, right? And we hear from a lot of our students that their providers are saying they won't do it. Elizabeth is saying, I'm guessing ACOG is okay with it, but providers probably aren't. Yeah, they're not. So as far as induction, ACOG's VBAC guidelines note induction of labor remains an option for women undergoing TOLAC. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Jalen, girl, that is not okay. Now, here's what I found with some of my VBAC students. They can schedule an induction, but that doesn't mean you have to show up. They can't really induce you if you're not in the hospital. That's my point. As long as you and baby are doing fine, girl, you don't have to do it. Now, here is the thing. When you are induced, the chances of a successful vaginal delivery go down. That's just the fact. And that's for my first time mamas. That's for my third time mamas. And that's for my mamas who have had a cesarean. When you go into labor spontaneously, your chances of a successful vaginal delivery goes through the roof. When you're induced, your chances of a successful vaginal delivery goes down. I'm not talking about the risk of a uterine rupture. I'm talking about just a successful delivery. And that plays into the fact that when you're induced, your chances of interventions also goes up. Yeah. Taylor said, no one's coming. Look, I'm going to add that because it's funny. Taylor said, no one's coming to your house to pick up for your induction. I say this all the time. The induction police are not going to come out and get you. They're just going to fill your spot with another patient. They might give you a little grief, but girl, you can handle a little grief. I promise. Okay, what about being monitored? Having monitors for fetal monitoring during labor. Do you guys think that you should be monitored? Yes, this is right. I'm going to put that there. So ACOG does support continuous monitoring. Okay. Most authorities recommend continuous electronic fetal monitoring. However, this is once you get to the hospital. You do not have to rush to the hospital. This is during active labor because 70% of cases of uterine rupturing, the first sign, the most common sign is the fetal heart rate being a little bit weird. However, what I have found is the most sign that I've seen is that moms are like, something's not right. And they're feeling what we would call breakthrough pain in between the contractions. So 100% ask for a wireless monitor, ask for intermittent monitoring, but you do want your baby to be monitored throughout your labor. Yes, wireless monitoring is an incredible option. All right. So, what about a forced epidural? Have any of you guys heard? Well, my doctor's said they feel more comfortable if I at least have an epidural in place, just in case there's an emergency. Anybody hear that one? Anybody hear that? We hear it all the time with our students. That's why I'm covering this. Yep. Okay. So here's what ACOG says. ACOG's VBAC guidelines states, no evidence suggests that epidural analgesia, am I saying that right, is a causal risk factor for unsuccessful TOLAC. Therefore, epidurals can be used as a part of TOLAC and may provide adequate pain relief. So many women may choose them. However, epidurals should not be considered necessary. In addition, effective analgesia, it should not be expected to mask signs or symptoms of uterine rupture, particularly because the most common sign of rupture is a fetal heart abnormality. So I want you guys to know that ACOG is saying you don't have to get an epidural if you don't want one. Molly, this is exactly why we have a VBAC class and we cover this weekly in our happy hours. The most valuable thing about our VBAC happy hours is that you get to hear what other moms are going through who are ahead of you, so that when you hit it, you've already heard my answer, Taylor's answer, ACOG's answer, and then you're able to see how that mom handled that particular that situation, and you're able to cater it for how it makes you comfortable. All right, what about an ECV? What if your baby's breech and you want to have them do an external cephalic version, which turns the baby into proper positioning? Has anybody heard a provider, has anyone heard said that it's not safe it increases your chance of a uterine rupture? Anybody heard that? I know Taylor's heard it because we've heard it in the DMs. We've heard it with our labor bat signal. Another perk of joining our birth courses is you have access to me and Taylor inside of our private community, which is not on Facebook. It's not on Meta. It's in its own little area, our own app, and you have access to us. And then at 37 weeks, we have what we call a labor bat signal, where you guys can create a group chat with me and my team doula. And we're probably going to be adding more doulas soon. And you can create a group chat called the labor bat signal once you hit 37 weeks, where you have access to us. So if you go to your 37-week appointment and your doctor's like, your baby's breech and we cannot do an ECV because that will increase your chances of rupture, you can call BS. So ACOG says limited data suggests that ECV for breech presentation is not contraindicated. So if you are a candidate, they're saying it's fine. All right, twins. Do you think mamas who are having twins should not have a VBAC? Does it increase her chance of a uterine rupture? What if you have two babies in there? Does that increase the chance that your uterus will rupture? What's your gut feeling? Just go with your gut. All right, y'all are slow, not answering me. So ACOG says that suspecting twins should not prevent a pregnant person from planning a VBAC, and that the outcomes are very similar to mamas who only have one baby. So girl, if you're pregnant with twins, you can have a VBAC. All right, VBAC 2Cs. What do they say? Do they say if you've had 2 C-sections that you shouldn't have a VBAC? Or do you think they say it's okay? And I'm not talking about ACOG. I'm talking about doctors, people. So most providers who are VBAC tolerant, they're going to say, oh yeah, I'll do a VBAC if you've had 1 C-section, but if you've had 2, it's not safe. You're increasing the risk of a uterine rupture, blah, 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 blah. ACOG says, given the overall data, it is reasonable to consider women with 2 previous low transverse cesarean deliveries to be a candidate for a TOLAC. So if you've had 2 C-section, girl, you're in the right place. All right. What about a time limit for a TOLAC? What about, do you think that providers want you to deliver in a certain amount of time if you're doing a trial of labor? Do you think they start a clock, a stopwatch? Yep, they do. So ACOG VBAC guidelines do not identify a time limit for VBAC. Girl, you can go as long as you want, as long as you're healthy and baby's healthy. Okay, so let's see. So what about if your provider does not know what type of uterine incision you have? If they are like, well, we don't know what type of incision you have, do you think that means you can't have a VBAC? Do you think they'll say, hey, we don't know what type of incision you have, so you really need to have a cesarean? So here's what ACOG says. Women with 1 previous cesarean delivery with an unknown uterine scar may be a candidate for a VBAC. How's that? It's frustrating, right, you guys? And I'm going to give you all of this. Now, the last thing we're going to cover is so a cesarean is a life-saving intervention. And thank you, God, we have them. But that being said, it's a major abdominal surgery. So what I want to do is talk to you about the risks of a cesarean, because I guarantee you guys have heard all the risks of trying for a VBAC. So here are the risks for a mama who has a cesarean: infection in the incision, infection in the uterine wall, blood loss, a postpartum hemorrhage, blood clots, injury to the bowel or the bladder, weakened uterine wall, placental problems in your next pregnancy, like previa and accreta and abruption, anesthesia risks, and risk of general anesthesia. Now, here's the risk to the baby: Breathing problems. Babies born by scheduled C-sections are more likely to develop transient tachypnea, and that means they're going to have difficulty breathing. Surgical injuries like nicks to the skin. Studies have shown increased risk of asthma in babies who are born via C-section and higher admissions. Okay. So I want you guys to really soak in all the things I'm telling you. They're going to place roadblocks in front of you. But if you're not educated about the truth of them and what ACOG states about them and what evidence-based care states about them, then girl, you're really going to have a difficult time speaking up and advocating for the birth you want. And this is for my girls who have never had a cesarean, to my girls who have had cesareans, 1, 2, or 3. So I really want to invite you guys to take the next step with us. Join the VBAC lab, join Calm Labor Confident Birth. We've actually kept the coupon open so you can still get $10 off. The code is fearless in all caps because girl, you're going to enter that birth fearless and powerful and supported. Remember, you have access to your very own labor nurse, your very own doula, and a whole wealth of women who have been there, done that, and who are going to come alongside you. Now, the birth courses are only open till Saturday for these special deals. You're going to get $10 off, plus our postpartum recovery guide, which is going to walk you through everything you need to know about postpartum. And we've got some other specials for you guys coming your way. We want you to join us. Go to the link inside of your email, inside of the Facebook group, the link in bio on my Instagram. Jump in right now. We have a 30-day money back guarantee. Elizabeth said, I started some of the VBAC lab classes today and I'm loving it. You guys, I poured my heart and soul. If you guys have not seen a glimpse of my passion about empowering you and educating you and helping you get the birth you want, not the one Trish wants, not the one the hospital wants, not the one your provider wants, not even the one your partner wants. Now, I want them to be on board with you. But remember, this is your vagina, this is your birth, and this is your right. So, girl, we're so happy to have you. If you have any questions for me, add them in the Facebook group and my team will get back to you. I'll get back to you. I love you guys. We have a class tonight at 6 o'clock. Do not miss it. It's all about coping with the pain of labor. And I'm going to walk you through some practical pain coping tips. And I'm going to have you leave that class flipping the script and being like, hell yeah, bring on labor, because I'm ready, because being ready is everything. All right, you guys, have a beautiful day. I'm going to add some VBAC information to the files in the Facebook group. Make sure you get there. VBAC Lab's still useful if you haven't had any pushback for the decision. Oh yeah, for sure, girl. I promise you still need it, because there's still reasons that your provider may offer interventions and offer different choices. I can 100% tell you, you will not regret that decision. Not to mention the value of hanging out with other moms who are in the exact same place as you and gleaning wisdom from them. So we would love to have you. And again, you get a 30-day money back guarantee. Come hang out with us. The only thing I ask is that you actually do the class and that you actually come to at least 1 or 2 VBAC happy hours before you decide if you want a refund. All right, you guys, have a fantastic day. Thank you for hanging out with me again. I love y'all so much, and I'm so honored to play such a small little role in your birth experience. Have a great day. Thank you, Taylor. Oh, the happy hours for our VBAC lab are every Monday, and the happy hour for Calm Labor Confident Birth is every Wednesday. Now, for my VIP mamas who joined as a VIP experience, here's the thing. If you're thinking about joining our courses, one of the options you have right now, Katie, is that you can join as a VIP mama. It's $24, and then you'll get a coupon for $20 off the VBAC lab. Now, the reason that you can do that is you'll then have a library of these 6 workshops to just reflect on and go back to. All right, you guys, or you can join right now, get $10 off the VBAC using the code FEARLESS. All right, guys, have a great night. Thank you, thank you, thank you.